guacamole, holy guacamole. I just got hit by a car, and you're the one who swept me off my feet, pushed me in the street, left me in a coma. Guacamole me, guacamole you. I just got busted for drugs, and you're the one who sold me to the Fed, leaving me for dead, played me for a fool. Making guacamole, mix it in the bowlie. I just got mauled by a bear, and you're the one who covered me with honey. Thought it was so funny. How could you be so cruel? Take it. That's good. Captain Guacamole, Officer Stromboli, I just got shot in the face, and you're the one who had the smoking gun. Love is just no fun whenever I'm with you. Guacamole coma, Yuma, Arizona, I just got hepatitis C, and you were standing there with a syringe. How it makes me cringe, breaks my heart in two. Holy guacamole, lumpy, green and rolly. Baby, I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause even though I'm down upon my luck, I don't give a fuck, long as I have you. She is the whore of Sausalito. She knows just how to ease your mind. But if you ask her if she loves you, she'll just smile and bat her eyes. For the whore of Sausalito never lies. She says she hails from Pasadena, and all the sailors know her name. And if you mention Palos Verdes, she will smack you like a mule. And if you hail from San Jose, she'll do the same. She never has the time to say she's sorry, and all the sailors think that she's insane. But in a world where no one else will love me, Jesus Christ himself has shunned me. The whore of Sausalito heals my pain. Here we go. She was the whore of Sausalito, but that was many years ago. But if you listen very close, you'll hear her crying in the breeze. For the whore of Sausalito Testing, testing, 1, 2. Whoo. Check, check. Checking the mic, 1, 2. 2. Help. Help. Please. Help me. Help me. Check. Ooh. Ooh. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Henry's Kitchen, where today I'm doing a remote live stream here. We're going to be going over some travel tips. A lot of you may know that I am on the road currently, as you can tell by my beard growth. Just road worn, letting things go a little bit. I don't have my apron, so I feel a little bit out of sorts. Just a little bit off put, I guess you could say. But that's the way I like it. Wonder if there's a way I can make the chat bigger. So I don't have any of my stuff. I'm not in my comfort zone in my kitchen, so everything's just a little bit weird. But I'm going to go to chat appearance. See if I can make this font size bigger. Yeah, I did, but I won't be able to see as many. So hopefully... this is all a work in progress here. What I'm really hoping is that I don't accidentally just do a 2-hour stream and then realize that there was nobody there. There's also a heater going. I think I should probably fix that. Maybe I'll do that. I can show a video and then I can go fix that sound, because even though you probably can't hear it, it's driving me batshit. Let's check in on some of the alerts here, and I might not be as good with the alerts as I normally am, so just please forgive me. First off, I want to ask, can you hear me and can you see me? This is a red shirt. The outside shirt is red and this is black, and that's a color test. Nancy Drudels says, we're a figment of your imagination. Okay. And that brings up an interesting question. Has the word figment ever been used in any other way other than in relation to your imagination? Can you have a figment of coffee cake or something, for example? What is a figment? I don't have my computer here, so I can't tell. G1 says Figment Newton. Okay, that could be too. Game Master Flash says yes to both. Can you see me and hear me? Game Master Flash, I can see you chatting. I can't see your image though. I just see text that you're writing, and I don't think there's a way I can see you guys on this. Bradford Bartos is here. He says, great night in St. Louis, Henry. Bradford, I really appreciate you and all of the users like Liberdaria, and there were many, many more. I'm not going to be able to remember all the names of the users that came out. People came from all over, from YouTube, Discord, Twitch. There were old school users that came in because they were fans of Dr. Demento and things like the movie Punching the Clown. And I just had so much fun. And Bradford, thanks for buying me a beer there. And we chatted a little bit, but I have to say it was difficult because I kind of didn't have a conversation that lasted more than 30 seconds with anybody because I was running around like the proverbial chicken with my head cut off, and it was difficult. But boy, that was a lot of fun, and it wouldn't have been as fun if all of those people didn't show up. As a matter of fact, that would be awful if I was just doing a show and there were no people there. It would have been kind of like what I'm doing now, except at least here I have virtual people. Game Master Flash says, oh, have her give you a smooch, then say it was from me. That's Game Master Flash, but that was a response to something else somebody else had said. Okay, and don't forget, I am going to be in Chicago this Sunday. Chicago, Illinois, at the Zanies Comedy Club, the Rosemont location, which is right by the airport. So if you're doing some international traveling, you should be able to, let's say you have a really long layover somewhere in New York or something. Well, not New York because they have a lot of cancellations right now due to weather, but if you have a day layover somewhere, just go to the gate agent and say, hey, I'd like to just go to Chicago for one night, and then you just get off at O'Hare and then come check out the show and you can get back to what you were doing. I think that sounds practical. Parasitosis says figment is what I saw because I have a lisp and I can't say pigment. Okay, well, that kind of speech impediment doesn't read here. So when I repeated it, I should have said, I have a lisp and can't say figment, because that would have been the appropriate way to deliver that line. Game Master Flash, yes to both. Can you see? Yeah, we talked about that. There were a couple of other things here. Winkface Seller says, wow, this is looking remote as hell. Yeah, this is remote. This is it right here. I'm looking at myself in the view situation, and I hardly recognize myself. I look much older, but that's what traveling does to you, and I want to talk a little bit about that. Winkface Seller says a winter storm is hitting on that day in Chicago. Safe travels. Is that true? Is there really a winter storm coming on Sunday? There could be. Nancy Droodle says, nah. You know, yeah, every now and then there's a little bit of bullshit that goes on in the chat, and that's fine. We like that. Everybody likes to bullshit a little bit. Game Master Flash says, I think I saw 1 inch in the forecast. Well, I don't know. That would be a wonder. That would definitely be a winter storm if we had that in LA. Imagine getting hit from the back by Jack Frost. Who's Jack Frost? Is that the guy who sang the Love Boat theme? The Gym Dodger says, guess it's a grower. Yep, sure is. Well, I hope you've got your coffee going. We're going to talk a little bit about travel tips today. Let me see if I can check in with the alerts here. And again, I'm not going to be as good at this as I usually am. Teaser Tuesday, thanks for subscribing on Prime. Mimsy Coon with a Tier 3 subscription. Thank you, Mimsy Coon. Very nice to see you, and that's very generous of you with the Tier 3 subscription. And Gumme Cande, our friend from the Northeast region of the United States, has subscribed at the Tier 1 level. Thank you very much for doing that, Gumme Cande. And thanks to all of you. But yeah, once again, it can't be said enough. I just am so appreciative of all the people that showed up to the show in St. Louis the other night. It was really a wonderful night, and it was great to meet everybody. And there was a guy who gave me a gift, and it was a beautiful gift, but they didn't sign it with their name, and I wonder who that was, but I want to say thank you to that person. It's a beautiful gift. It was concealed in a bag, so I don't know if it's something that person wants me to disclose, but it was a kitchen utensil, or a kitchen facilitator. It was a thing that you use every morning in the kitchen, and it's really nice. Neat. I need tips going to an out-of-state wedding next month. Okay, good. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Hype train incoming. What does that mean? I've still never figured out what a hype train is. You'll have limited time to earn exclusive emotes. Well, that sounds very exciting. Let's see how many people are watching us right now. We've got 135 viewers. Okay, we better get to the actual situation here. Okay. So, probably as I travel, the question that I hear the most is people ask me if I want to buy some kind of illegal drugs. And I always say no. Not necessarily that I'm judging against people who partake in this type of thing, but it's just that it's not really what I want to do at that moment. But probably the second most uh, common question that I get is regarding, well, people don't really ask me this, but I just wanted to do a thing about it. How do you travel with your toiletries? For example, toothpaste. How many times has this happened? You went out because you wanted to really do things up on this next trip. You wanted to go to Chicago or New York and say to yourself, I'm going to get some awesome toothpaste, you know? Like, for example, a Burt's Bees charcoal and whitening, fluoride-free toothpaste. Are we paying more now to take the fluoride out? I don't know how that works. But not tested on animals, which is great. What that means is that they send it to a company that tests on the animals, and then they tell them that it's okay, I guess. But it removes stains, deep cleans, and freshens your breath. So you want to go out and buy one of these really nice things for your trip, only to find out that when you go to TSA at the airport, they say this is too big and you can't do it. You can only have, I think it's like, I don't have my computer with me, but it's only like 0.08 ounces or something like that you can bring of every liquid fluid item. So Armor Ant says, and it turns your teeth black. Well, yeah, it's called charcoal, so I assume it turns them the color of charcoal or coal. It's perfect when you pretend you're a demon. Yeah. Okay, Game Master Flash says Japan lets you take booze on the plane. Like a lot of booze. Wow. That's very generous of them. Apparently, a lot of people in Japan must hold their liquor better than a lot of the TikTok clips that I've seen here of people drunk on the plane. Okay. When I was flying to England about, I guess it would have been about 13 years ago, there was a gentleman who was very drunk and he was trying to get to the bathroom and he's walking through the aisle and he was wavering anyway, but also there was some turbulence, and at one point he fell and he tried to stop his fall with his hand and it went right on my face. So it was interesting to go from being someone who was a viewer of a funny situation to suddenly being part of the show. Sorry, there's a train going by now. A lot of noises happening here. But I love trains, so I'm not going to complain too much. Armor Ant says you see a lot of deodorant bottles just under the airport limit these days. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I don't really have deodorant here. I couldn't really figure out how to work that into my travel demonstration. It's Kate X says, I think that's a friendly greeting in parts of England. Oh, okay, the hand over the face thing. Okay, and Parasitosis says, I was drunk too when I walked down the aisle at my wedding. Okay, well, hopefully you didn't put your hand on somebody's face that, hopefully it was one of the people that was on your side of the aisle that were your family instead of your fiance or I guess then wife's. Okay, Guitar HD says, hey Henry, I stated watching Silicon Valley because of you. Wow, you sure did state that. Thank you very much, Gutter HD. Wow, is that really for real? You started watching it. I absolutely love that show, and I was a big fan of it for the first 3 seasons, and then all of a sudden I got a call saying they wanted me to be in it, and I was extremely nervous because I didn't want to ruin the show that I was such a fan of. That'd be like, being a Beatles fan and all of a sudden they say, hey, why don't you come up and be in the Beatles and sing with us? And you're like, really? And then you start singing like shit and everybody's like, I hate the Beatles now. I didn't want to be that guy. So if you watch the show, I'm legitimately terrified And I think it works. Belm 101 says that must be surreal, suddenly being in a show you love. Yes, it was very surreal and very lovely. It was a wonderful experience in the long run, but very nervous for me. Mimsy Kuhn wants to know when I'm doing a show in Denmark. Boy, I'd love to. I'm having a hard time just traveling to the Midwest in the country that I live in. International travel, it feels like, I mean, the reality is, as awesome as everybody is here, I can't really get more than about 80 to 100 people to any given place. And that none of the venues really want to do business with somebody like that, except for the lovely ones that I've found. So I'd have to look. It's all about trying to find the right venue, but I'd love to. Dude Tranquil says, you were perfect in that role. Wow, thanks so much, Dude Tranquil. I appreciate that. It was a blast, and everybody on the set was awesome people, and I just really cherished that memory. Okay, maybe it's time for a song. This is a live remote stream, so I haven't had the ability to go to Discord. There's no green screen, so I can't show your pictures. I'll be doing that when I do get back in town, which will be a week from today. And I'm going to have a lot of green screen pics to go through, but then I'll have my reverb. I'll have everything. And so I wasn't even able to learn songs that you requested. And there's not much excuse for that. But I figured, why don't I do a couple of songs that I don't do very often? And It's Kate says, ooh, the Gretsch. Yes, this is the Gretsch guitar that was gifted to me by you, the users, a couple of years ago. And it was an astounding type of a gift to get. And I'm forever grateful for it. And that's the guitar that I'm using on this particular trip. It's lovely. Thank you again for your generosity. The Jim Dodger says, holy shit, the users have been super generous. Yeah, they've been very, very generous. And to a point where I'm very humbled and grateful. Winkface Seller says, is Reverbison available today? No, we don't even have Reverbison. But this place that I'm in, check, has a little bit of a natural reverb that's pretty cool. So I like that. I'm just going to check in with some alerts and see how we're doing here. Cosmic 4Ux. Thank you so much for following. And let's see here. Saguaro Ooh. Thank you so much for your Tier 3 subscription. Absolutely amazing and great to see you. Hope all is well with you in the Southwest area. I really, really want to get to the Southwest, be it Arizona or New Mexico. I got to get down there. I know that there'll be at least 3 people there if I do a show somewhere in that region. And I also want to thank Zankoth for cheering 100 bits. Thank you for that, as well as Destrolock09. I wonder if there's a way I can make this bigger. There is. I just made it bigger. This is great. Destrolock09, thanks for subscribing. And Gutter HD, thanks for subscribing. And look at this. There's a lot going on here. Game Master Flash gifted 5 Tier 1 subs. That's amazing. Thanks, Game Master Flash. And I believe I'm going to be seeing you in Chicago. Am I right? Can't wait. Always great chatting about music and having a beer. And the show's going to be incredible. I think that they moved the time so that it starts much earlier. So, we'll do the show. And then I've got a couple of friends that are going to be the opening acts. And then we're going to just hang out. So come on down. Mark Lahorn says, hey, Henry, stay safe traveling. Traveling might not be as hard as cooking, but it's still hard. It's nowhere near as hard as cooking because when you're traveling, you just kind of go wherever your itinerary tells you to. Cooking, you have to, unless you're baking. If you're baking, you can follow directions better, but, cooking, there's so many things that can go wrong. And there's nothing that can go wrong on a plane. Okay, thank you, Mark Lahorn. And for Pentagon Jr., thank you so much for your Tier 1 subscription for 5 months. And Teaser Tuesday, thank you very much, Teaser Tuesday, for subscribing. Thanks, everybody. This is really wonderful. And I'm going to go ahead and do a song. Let me just check here. Pancake King says, I'm baked right now. Yeah, and Divorced Master Chief says there's less knives involved in traveling. Makes it simpler. Yeah, and there's less fire. Unless your plane is going down. But other than that, but that's very rare. Whereas in the kitchen, you have similar types of tragedies all the time. Armor Ant says, what about when you're a traveling cook? Is that a nightmare? I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine that. Okay, Dark Ages says, do you hitchhike a lot when you travel across the country? No. I mean, I tried to do it for a little while, but they don't want to pick you up unless you're some kind of a, young person or something. They just, they're not interested in taking me where I want to go. So I have to Uber. Parasitosis says, times they are a-changing. They sure are. Okay. I'd pick you up, Henry. Thanks, Vados. Okay, I think it's time. Wait, what is this? Oh, Nancy Drudels is coming in with the info. Rosemont, 5:30 p.m. doors, 6:30 p.m. show. Pre-show. Rosie's next door anytime after 4 p.m. Oh, great. Okay, so there's a place to hang. That's good. Good to know. Angry Penguin 922 says, I would pick you up anytime, Henry, even if you were holding a giant machete in a dark, desolate highway. That's very nice of you, Angry Penguin. That's very kind of you. Okay, we're going to have to get into this here. This is a little song that I've been doing live on the road, just in case you're not able to come to the show. It was a song that I wrote 30 years ago, and Dazzlecat recently said requested it, and I did it at the show in Naperville last year, and it just felt like it was such a nice song. But now I've brought the key down a little bit, and I was thinking this sounds like it could be a very nice Jose Suicidio song. So I'm trying to sell it to Jose Suicidio, who is trying to make a new album. And if all goes well, I'll have a nice recording of it, maybe live. And but in the meantime, here's the Jose Suicidio pitch for the song that I wrote 30 years ago, and I hope you enjoy it. And there's no reverb, so I apologize. You'll just be hearing my natural voice. I may not be a movie star, I may not drive a shiny car, I may not be surrounded by celebrities or royalty, I may not be the Prince of Wales or the King of Siam. In fact, I don't remember just exactly who I am, 'cause I got hit in the head by a brick and I can't remember a fucking thing. Hit in the head by a brick and I don't remember anything. I might have been some despicable white-collar criminal. I might have been a guy who absconded with investor funds after a crypto rug pull. I might have been some mastermind. I might have been a foreign spy. I might have bombed the Nord Stream pipeline. I might have even been to the island or leaked documents that were classified. But don't expect me to testify, 'cause I got hit in the head by a brick and I can't remember a fucking thing. Hit in the head by a brick and I don't remember anything. Hit in the head by a brick and I can't remember a fucking thing. Hit in the head head by a brick and I don't remember anything. Here we go. I got hit in the head by a brick and I can't remember a fucking thing. I might have been a funny singer, but now I can't tell jokes and I can't sing. And maybe the bridge for this song was once a little bit lower, maybe just a little bit funnier, maybe just a bit more clever, but don't expect me to remember. Oh yeah. We might have had a one-night stand. I might have even said I love you. I might have even promised you a mountain or the evening sky. We might have almost called each other honey. I might have even borrowed money. We might have almost had it all, but don't expect me to call, 'cause I got hit in the head by a brick and I can't remember a fucking thing. Hit in the head by a brick and I don't remember anything. Everybody sing along. Hit in the head by a brick and I can't remember a fucking thing. Hit in the head by a brick and I don't remember anything. There we go. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, we're going to see if Jose Suicidio is able to maybe do that one on his upcoming album. That would be nice. All right. What else do we got going on here? Going to check in with the alerts here because I really don't want to miss alerts. Fat Honger subscribed for 43 months. Amazing, Fat Honger. Thank you so much. Very kind of you. And Ouija board. Whoa. I don't know what just happened. I just vomited. Ouija board, B-O-R-E-D, also subscribed for 21 months on the Prime and says the big 2-0. Thank you so much, Ouija board. And thanks everybody for your subscriptions and your bits and the whole bit. Guitar Joe says very topical updates to that song. Yeah, I believe, and so does Jose Suicidio, we believe that art is a living, breathing process. It never stops the same way that anything eternal never stops. Human beings are mortal, but their art lives on forever. And the songs of Jose Suicidio, like Help Me and Hold Me and God Help Me and Please Help Me, all of those songs are going to live on way, way longer than humankind itself. When eventually humans die out, don't worry, there still will be life. I understand cockroaches are probably the best fit for survival in the post-apocalypse, in a nuclear post-apocalypse. And they will have that song to be able to enjoy. And they'll think about what humans did and the way that their life was sort of tortured, and they'll be able to just walk around the desert singing, "Help me make it through the night." And that just makes me feel really good. What was the question? I kind of went down a tangent there, and I can't remember. Oh, yeah, the updates to the song, yeah. And I want to address this, too. I had a conversation with somebody at the show. As you grow older, you meet more people, and sometimes maybe things that you thought were funny when you were younger become a little bit more real and sometimes even more tragic. And it's sort of a sad thing that happens when you go from being innocent enough to be able to laugh at everything to eventually realizing that some things aren't as funny as they were when you were younger. Because they're happening to you now. And so there's a couple of lyrics that sometimes I'll omit from my songs because I just want everybody to have a good time, and I don't want to ever have somebody in the middle of a comedy show going, "Oh, this is really a good time," and then just like, "Oh, now I'm depressed." Dark Ages says, Henry, have you ever seen Nirvana? In Nirvana the band. Oh, you didn't mean like the state of being. The show, the movie yet? No. If you haven't, I think you'd dig it. It's so good. Nirvana the band, the show, the movie. No, I'm going to check it out. It sounds like a lot of different media or platforms. Angry Penguin says, someday future people will uncover a hard drive with all Henry's streams and videos on it, and it will change everything. World peace will be achieved. I hope so. Boy, that would be nice. Caitlin's Kitchen says, all roads lead to crying on your bathroom floor. That's true. At least the roads that I've taken, for sure. The road less traveled and the one most traveled, they still lead to the same thing. So there's no point in sitting there deciding which way you're going to go when you hit a fork in the road. Caitlin's, Kev Rolled just simply says W. Thank you, Kev Rolled. And Armorant says, throwing bricks was a lot more fun as a kid. Now it just feels empty. Yeah, well, that, you get bored of it. And also, at some point, somebody throws a brick at you in your window or whatever. And suddenly it's not as funny as it used to be. Okay. Taco Sauce 2234 says, Henry, what's your favorite song you've made? Well, it changes a lot. And I can't take credit for any of the Jose Suicidio songs because those are rightfully his songs. But I have chimed in every now and then on those. Zankoth says, a fork in the road? Even on the road you can't escape the hardships of the kitchen. Yeah, I'd be pretty pissed off if I was going down a road and I saw a fork, because then I'd be like, well, that's just another fallen one. Okay, let's check in on the alerts here. We're going to do another song. Lacey T, thank you so much for subscribing at the Tier 3 level. That's very generous of you. And I'm hoping I see Lacey T and Dark Aegis in Chicago. If not, no pressure, but I know you've been in the past, and it'd be great to see you guys. Thank you so much for your subscription. And Caitlin's Kitchen, whom I met in Naperville, Tier 3 subscriber. Thank you so much, Caitlin's Kitchen. That's very kind of you for your subscription. And let's go ahead now, and at this point, and by the way, how are we doing in terms of the... I usually have a little indicator that with a little green light saying the stream's going okay. Is the stream going smoothly? Bad Doge says it can also blow up your tires. Yeah, the fork in the road. Two roads diverged. I found a fork in the road, and it fucked up my tires. That should have been the whole poem right there. Sorry I'm late once again. I promise I'll be on time to the show this weekend. Yes. Oh, you are coming. Thanks, Lacey T. And camera in hand. Great. Dark Aegis. These are our resident photographers for the Henry's Kitchen Enterprise. Dark Aegis and Lacey. Yeah, I'm ready to take 1,000,000 photos. Okay, great. If you don't mind, when we're taking the photos, let me know so I can get in a cool pose. You know, like a... And then nobody will know that was staged. I think that's what the rock stars do. Unsuccessfully coping. Oh, hey, Henry, nice kitchen. Hey, thanks, unsuccessfully coping. It's not my kitchen. I'm staying in a remote location. But, Pancake King says it's going great. Well, that's good to know. Thank you so much. And Lacey T has gifted 5 Tier 1 subs to the community. Amazing. Thank you so much, Lacey T, for that generosity. Okay, it is time. We're going to go ahead and do another song. Oh, Unsuccessfully Coping is coming to the show this weekend. Awesome. We're going to have a lot of fun once again. And there's going to be a show this Sunday. I just found out it starts at 6:30 p.m. Chicago, Zany's Comedy Club in the Rosemont location. And it's just going to be a blast. I can't wait. So why don't I do this song, which I guess this could be a Suicidio song. I could think all the songs that I wrote 30 years ago could very well be sold to Jose Suicidio for his new album. This is one that's called Abuse, about the relationships I had back then. Somebody requested it recently. First you stole my innocence, then you stole my confidence, and then you stole my will, my love, and you stole my heart, and then you stole my silverware, and then my favorite beanbag chair, and then my books, my clothes, my tapes, and my Cuisinart. But I don't need damage assessed, and I don't need grievances redressed. I just wanna be with you, 'cause I need a little more abuse. Key change. We can take a walk in the park, and I'll give you my credit card. You can lie and cheat and steal all my money, and I can let you have your space, and you can put me in my place. And if we meet some guys, you can say we're only friends. But if it beats being alone, I'll be your social stepping stone. I just wanna be with you, 'cause I need a little more abuse. There we go. That's a song that I wrote in my early 20s about relationships that I was having, and how I was getting abused constantly, but I liked it. And I'm not talking about a type of abuse that I'm talking about just general, stuff that happens when you're in your early 20s. And Monix Girlfriend says by Henry Phillips also has a great key change. Thanks. Yeah, I'm very proud of the key change in that song. The secret to the key change, this is something that I learned in music school, is instead of just, and this might be redundant to a lot of people, but you don't just go, I mean, you could, but you should set it up with your dominant chord of the new key. And then it would be. That was a little trick that I learned for anybody who's into music theory there. Okay. Slurpo says, just so you know, All Alone has been one of my top songs on Spotify for 3 years in a row. You mean Alone Again? Thank you so much, Slurpo. There is a song called All Alone that's going to be on the new Jose Suicidio album, but it hasn't been released yet. Taco Sauce 2234. Henry, can you teach me to play guitar? Yeah, I've done this before, but if you pick up a guitar for the first time, take this finger. It's the one right next to the fuck you finger. I guess they call it the ring finger. Put it on the 3rd fret of the 1st string and just strum the last 4 strings. And that's called a G chord. So if you can do that, you can already do a song. I remember the first time I saw you. I went to your doorstep and rang the bell. Your parents told me your dog's name was Henry, and I laughed and said, hey, that's my name as well. So you can do stuff like that. Yeah, that's right, Mark Lahorn, pivot chords. Let's do a pivot chord on that one. So if we're in G, we're going to have to... But that's going to get a little bit more advanced for our guitar lesson. It's Kate X. You only really need to know maximum 4 chords, honestly. Yeah, that's true, especially if you have a capo. You can move this thing around. You could go like this. So suddenly now your G chord is a C chord. So if you want, you can just keep, if you're really fast with the capo, you could just change them all that way. I remember the first time I saw you. I went to your doorstep and rang the bell. That's a little bit clumsy. That might be... Armorant said that was so fast I didn't even see it. Flawless. Wow, that's great to hear. Thank you very much, everybody. That's my guitar lesson for now. Okay, I think it's time to get into our travel itinerary lesson here. Okay, so let's check in with the alerts here. We have Lacey T, thanks again for gifting 5 Tier 1 subs. That's absolutely incredible. Capacious T says, Brian May does that too. Wow, he does the capo trick? He must be really fast at it. Rosemuz says, you can also have a different guitar for each chord. Yeah, if you have that kind of money. All right, let's take a look at what I've set up over here. And again, this is all very slipshod. Look at that, that's already messed up here. Oh boy. I had this all set up perfectly before, and now it's kind of messed up. This is gonna drive me batshit nuts. Needs to be straight. Okay, so this is basically what I have here. These are the types of toiletries you're gonna wanna bring on your trip. Okay, so you've got your shampoo, soap. I've got 2 different types of toothpaste because maybe you're gonna wanna change things up. One, they say that you shouldn't have fluoride for every brushing, so you can alternate with the fluoride-free versus the other one. I'm just talking out of my ass, but that's all anybody does nowadays anyway. So we have some very expensive Aveda hand cream. How much would that suck? You spend $80 on this hand cream, and then you show up to the airport, and you find out that you can't take it on the plane because it's too big. Well, that's exactly what I'm going to be showing you how to avoid this time. WG Oni's Pizza says they seem to be all roughly the same ingredient. I think you could just put use one of those in a pinch. Yeah, but you have to make sure it's in the correct container. And also, why not pamper yourself? Angry Penguin says, Henry, you're probably a faster guitar player than Herman Lee from Dragon Force. There's you, Eddie Van Halen, than everyone else. Well, that's very nice of you. I'm not going to say that's true, but I appreciate the compliment. Phil Interrupted says they've subscribed. Oh, subscribed. Oh, okay, thanks. Let me take a look here. Phil Interrupted, thank you very much for subscribing for 12 months. That's amazing. Is that baby oil in the back? No, this is Johnson & Johnson's baby shampoo. And the reason you want to use this shampoo is it's, you remember the expression, no more tears. It's got no parabens, phyllanthales, pallades, sulfates, sucrose, or dyes. So it doesn't hurt your eyes as much. So you don't have to be a baby. You just have to be, it could just say man baby oil. Okay. So we've got our toothpaste, hand cream. Now these are empty jars that we might work with. How many times do you get a dry nose on the plane? This is called nasogel. And this just sort of, oh, there's nothing in this. Okay. Well, we don't need that anyway. And then I also have this. These are snack containers. This is going to be for your snacks. And we've got a couple snacks that we're going to fill this with. So let's start by going ahead and opening some of these up. Okay. These snack containers are legal because I found these in the travel section of Walgreens. So I'm going to take one of these snack containers and I'm going to fill it up with some pecans. And then I have, so that's going to be a nice travel thing when we get hungry, when we're on our layover and we don't want to spend $28 on some peanuts. You've got this. And then we also have, oh, you want to use a different color because you don't want to mix up your snacks. So we're going to do some pistachio nuts in here. Okay. That's going to be nice for us. Pistachio nuts are great if you're quitting smoking or something like that because the hand activity of trying to open these things. Now, you want to take another one of the same color and that's where you're going to discard your shells because you don't know. You might be stuck somewhere with no trash can. Okay? So, and then you can do fun things like this. If you're with your family or something, you can do a little thing called 3-card Monty. This was a thing that they did in New York where you'd say, okay, I'm going to shuffle these up. Which one is the one that's got the empty container? Okay? So I'm going to ask you, the chat, which one's got the empty container here of these three? Rosema says the right one. Now, wait, do you mean my right? Because my right is this. We've got some people saying the middle. The green one. No, we do know it's going to be one of the green ones. The one with the dot on the top? Is that? Oh, no. Somebody's a little too clever. Okay, let's see. Let's see if the one on the dot on the top. That's what Sociopathogen says. You got it. Good job. Can we get that? See, now, also, I want to say the way that 3-card Monty, I almost said 3-dog Monty, works, and I know this because I grew up in New York, you let the person get a certain amount of confidence. That's why you call it a confidence man. And then you start going, wow, you're a little too good. I don't know if I should put money on this. And then you start putting money on it, and then you start doing all of your sleight of hand tricks. Dark Ages says, you were supposed to use sleight of hand to make it impossible to guess. No, that comes on the hustling part. This is part of the hustle, is letting people get it right the first time. But anyway, we're getting off. We're getting off a little bit here, so let's get back on. But look at this. So already I've got my snacks, got a couple of different varieties of nuts, and I've got a little extra container here for the discard of my pistachio nuts. So that's all set. We also have these containers. Now, I believe these are okay for travel. If I can open it. Are you kidding me? This is a joke. This must be some kind of joke. I can't open this, guys. Literally can't open it. What's going on? Okay, there we go. That was a close one. But you know what? These are too big anyway. I don't need that much stuff if I'm going away for a week. I have this. I found this in the travel area, and it's perfect. This is for each day of the week. So we have Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a different, well, we'll start with a different toothpaste for every day of the week. So for day 1, we've got our cavity protection with active fluoride. So they're actually bragging about the fluoride, whereas the other one's bragging about not having fluoride. We'll put that in there. Okay. That's going to be our day 1 toothpaste. You don't need to. You don't need more than that for 1 day of toothpaste, and they will let you bring this on the plane. Now, what about Monday? Well, we've got our charcoal whitening. So Monday is going to be kind of a luxury day. We're going to pamper ourselves with this beautiful Burt's Bees charcoal and whitening. I don't know if charcoal is what I think of when I think of whitening, but it's fluoride free, and they're using that as a selling point, as the other one used the other thing as a selling point, having fluoride in it. Okay, ooh, that's good, and it smells good too. Okay. Okay, so that's our toothpaste. One option is you can just go through here. Maybe we can put a little bit of our nasogel spray in Tuesday. Oh, we got to do this way. Nasogel spray. This is for a dry nose if you're on the plane. This is basically just a water and saline solution to keep hydrated. You may or may not want that, but I'm just giving you examples. Now let's take our Aveda, very expensive hand relief. This stuff can cost up to certainly more than $100. Armor Ant says it's always good to skip a day of brushing your teeth. Yeah, I mean, they change this stuff all the time. Okay. So we're getting a nice little assortment of different types of toiletries in our container here. This is soap. Okay, now this is not a liquid soap, I found out. I thought this was going to be liquid, but if you look, it's a bar of soap. We can't do anything like with this. They're not going to let you take this on the plane because it's not a liquid fluid situation. So that's that. We're going to put that away. And then lastly, let's go ahead and put, for Tuesday, let's put some of our Johnson & Johnson No More Tears shampoo there. I got a little bit of shampoo outside of my Target compartment. So we're going to just clean that up. I'm staying in an Airbnb, so I'm very, very careful about what I'm doing here. The Celestial Being says, why does that week start with Sunday? I think every week starts with Sunday and ends with Sunday. Oh, no, that wouldn't make sense because Sunday is the 7th day. So I'm actually not sure. That's an excellent question. If I had my computer, I would ask. Saguaro Oo says, can we melt the soap in the air fryer to take it on the plane? That's another question for a computer. Does soap melt? Well, I know it when you get it wet, it liquefies. So, but does it melt? What is soap even? I've never even thought about that. What the fuck is soap? Mal199 says, is computer afraid of flying? Yeah, no, I don't take the computer with me when I fly. Zemb33Z says, Monday ends and starts with Sunday? No, I don't think so. And it's not really relevant to what we're doing here. But let's just take a look at what we've done here so far here, if we will. What? That's wrong. We have a nice assortment of snacks, as well as toiletries that you can fill up any way that you want. And you could buy like 10 of these. I think they're only like $1 or something. And then all of these other things you can just throw away. But that's basically it. I'm going to go through and see if anybody has questions. Guitar Joe says, I never brush my teeth on second Saturday. Okay, well, everybody has their own little travel idiosyncrasies. Butt Smasher Masher says, when I was in undergrad, my professor said to always keep luggage in the bathtub. So you can check for bed bugs on the bed. Let me think about that. You want to always keep your luggage in the bathtub so you can check for bed bugs. Yeah. And so if you check for bed bugs and you find them, you know that they're not part of your situation because you put your luggage in the bathtub. Just make sure to remove the luggage when you want to take a bath. Parasitosis says, how do I bring my metal shoe spikes on the plane? I don't think you do. Taco Sauce 2234 says, how many days do you brush your teeth? I think you do them, most people do it once a day, but some people are twice a day. Some people don't do it at all. Capacious T says, only the days you eat. Yeah, that makes sense. If you're not eating, if you're on a fasting, a lot of people fast for a full day. What would be the point of brushing your teeth? You didn't add any new substance onto your teeth. Rusmuz says you could also put coffee in one of the boxes so you can have some coffee on the plane. You could put coffee in one of these. Oh yeah, no, that's a great idea. Usually coffee is gratis on a plane, but a lot of times they don't serve it if it's a really short flight or if there's a lot of turbulence. Sometimes I wonder if maybe they're running low on coffee and they don't want to have that extra expenditure. So if you're on a real cheap airline, they might tell the pilot, hey, can you drive into like a wind shear or something to get it very turbulent, and we can say, sorry everybody, we want to give you coffee, but it's just too turbulent. It's not safe for our flight attendants. That's what I would do if I were trying to look at my bottom line as an airline CEO. Okay, Armor Ant says, it's the one time you should drink coffee with a straw when you put it in a pill box. Yeah, you would need that. Unsuccessfully Coping wants to know, and I hope somebody can answer, I hope Chicago has good coffee. Can we get an answer on that one? Does Chicago have good coffee? I know that they're known for their pizza and Italian beef sandwiches and Chicago dogs. War Pigu says they don't. Wow. Dark Ages says Chicago has good everything if you look in the right place. Google D's Nuts says also you can use that same straw to snort your sinus liquid. Yeah, that's true. Parasitosis says Chicago does not. It's really hard to believe that Chicago hasn't cracked the code of good coffee, because even if some other state has really good coffee, you would think they could import it. Zambui133Z says New Jersey has good coffee. I don't deny that. There's a place in New York called Blue Bottle Coffee that makes coffee that's so good that apparently some people have passed out right after drinking it. I mean, that's just one of these things that you hear. I don't know if it's true, but it's apparently the sensation of drinking it is so joyous that it just sort of causes people to short circuit. Max Kraken US, the sinus liquid could double as a contact solution. I see. Yeah, I don't want to say that that's true because I'm not a member of the medical community, but if Max Kraken US says that, then I think it could very well be true. Taco Sauce 2234, will you be coming to Kansas anytime soon? I'd love to get back to Wichita. I believe that the Looney Bin there has reopened, and I do have interest in going back there. I did it back about 5 years ago and had a blast. So, and I have a lot of friends in Wichita too, so that would be really cool to do. Armor Ant, much more effective than caffeine, I was told by someone, of course. Yes. Okay, let's check in with our alerts here, because I don't want to leave anybody hanging. Butt Smasher Masher, thank you so much for 100 bits. That's very kind of you, and for chiming in about the luggage in the bathtub tip. And Phil Interrupted, thank you very much, Phil Interrupted, for your subscription. That's very generous of you. And, you know, maybe what we can do now is I'll try to rig our situation so that I can show a video and maybe I can do live commentary. I'll have to figure out how to do this. I don't have Quanto, our technical advisor, at the moment. But, hold on, everybody. We're going to figure this out. We've done it before. We've had hard times with this in the past, but I think we're going to figure it out. It's just weird. I know there's a better way to do this. Wow, there's a situation there. Okay, so let me just check in with you. Do you hear me? Do you see me? And is there a small me in the bottom right of your screen? And is there a large me outdoors with an apron in the middle of the large screen? Okay, I'm getting a lot of positive responses. Okay, this is wonderful to know. Thank you. All right. I'm going to try to do live commentary here, so this is all a little bit sort of thrown around at the last minute here, so let's see how we can do this. This is my cheese Danish video. I think I'm going to just try to give you a little bit of background in terms of how this works. I've never tried this before, but I'm just looking for some fun things that we can do here. Armorat says, I can't tell which one is the real you. I think they both are. All right, here we go. Wait.
Hello, and welcome to Henry's Kitchen, where today I'm going to be teaching you how to make the authentic cheese Danish.
Doubled audio.
Originating sometime in the mid-19th century, the cheese Danish was originally originated at some point during the 19th century. So let's get that coffee brewing.
Well, now I know how to get Reverbicin. Okay, good.
Start by making
wow,
our
I'm really
cheese
jamming
filling.
here.
I
don't know why this thing is
cracker stick snack package from Kroger. The cheese portion has the perfect texture. You just want to spoon it into your measuring cup.
Let me know if you have any questions about this as we go.
Packages for this.
Why was I in the woods? Asks
You can also just cut a
You know,
hole in
I
it
was
and
looking
then
a lot of
squeeze
these
it out,
videos
like
on
so.
YouTube, and they do it in different places.
You'll find you get
And I
better
wanted
at
to
it
just
as you
add a
go.
little variety. Bradford Bartos asks, do you not travel with
scoop
your
it out
apron
into your
because of
work
how
bowl.
nasty it's become over the years? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's really, really
also want
nasty
one
after
3.4
15
ounce
years of
package of
not
Jell-O.
washing it. Mr. Dink's Vibrator says, I think that cheese can't legally be
And
referred to
3/4
as cheese.
cups
Yeah,
of
they
milk.
call it cheese product, I believe.
Now let's whisk it up.
Dark Ages says they
You know,
should
in New
give
York,
that
the
cheese
cheese Danish is
sauce
seen
in
as
large
good luck.
containers so you
It
don't
all
have to
goes
deal
back
with
to
the
a
small
story of
buckets
one
and
guy who
waste
went
in the
to
cracker
the same
sticks.
diner every day for
Waste the
30
cracker
years in the
sticks.
world
Yeah,
of cheese
I did
Danish
have a
and
lot of
coffee.
cracker sticks
And
left
then one
over
day to
after
change
this
it up,
recipe, and I
guess he
enjoyed
ordered
them
an
every
apple
morning with
pie
my
and a
coffee.
green tea. And then as soon as he walked out of the diner,
Vivnetsky says Sade, or is Vivnetsky referring to Sade?
You just want to take this out of the package and tip it over so the pie crust just kind of falls out. And if you're worried about wasting this
Nancy Drudel says, did you check the Airbnb for hidden cameras? No, I didn't. I'm not really doing anything that I think would be
one on each side.
Embarrassing to have on camera, except for streaming.
Up into a ball.
But I don't think anybody cares.
Then we'll grab
Dark Ages says they should give that cheese sauce in large containers so you don't have to deal. Oh yeah, we already talked about that. Neat says Shardy.
And we'll flatten it out.
Taco Sauce 2234 says with Henry for not being wistfully with the cracker sticks. Oh yeah, no, I did not waste.
The cheese Danish was invented in 1850 when all the bakers in Denmark
or maybe
went
wasteful
on
is what you meant.
And they had to import bakers from Austria.
Thinking wistfully back
apparently the Austrian bakers were better, and they invented the cheese Danish.
Max Kraken US says this is no ordinary pastry.
By hand a little bit.
Okay, that was unfortunate. I had a very heavy rolling pin fall on my bare feet.
Ice cream scooper.
Armorant, yeah. When a lot of people wonder how the Apollo rockets were able to get through what's called the Van Allen belt because of the radiation, and apparently the secret was aluminium.
Okay, now I'm going to cut some diagonal incisions
aluminium
along each
foil
side.
coated around it because it blocks radiation. That's where people started realizing, well, if I just wear an aluminum foil hat the entire time, then
kind of like
nobody can see into my brain, I guess. Dark Ages, can you claim workman's comp from yourself when you injure yourself in the kitchen? I tried to, but apparently
I also put a little butter over the top to make it crisp. But now we just want to very carefully grab this whole thing
that I
and
wasn't
move
able
it
to
onto our
get money
floured
from
sheet
myself.
pan.
Armor Ant says, I guess you can use aluminium foil
Let's put it in
the
oven.
microwave to block the radiation. I think so. Okay, so we're putting this in the oven. Pancake King says it'll block alpha particles and some beta, but gamma you're going to get some. Yeah, well, I wish I would have known that before I went near this nuclear power plant that I'm near there. Because I might have gotten some gamma.
Okay, so now we just want to cut this into
Okay, a lot of
servings.
people wondered why this came out.
This is going to be great for your potluck, or if you have in-laws, this is going to blow their
sort
mind.
Of chocolatey looking, and I don't remember actually.
Put it on a
I think it's because the
plate.
Jello that I used was chocolatey.
Who would have thought you could make an authentic cheese Danish right here at home? Well, thanks for joining us here on Henry's Kitchen, everybody. And special thanks to the patrons.
Seeing myself in my kitchen is making me wistful of the past. And then these are the subscribers. Those are the patrons that paid for this. And can I just say, and this blows my mind, we are coming up on the 15th anniversary since I made the first Henry's Kitchen video back in 2011. It was August of 2011. I made French toast. There's a hard drive somewhere. Thank you very much, Zombie133Z. And War Pig, you're right. The 100th video is coming up as well, if I'm doing the counting right on it. As you can see, I've aged a lot. I don't know if it's because I looked particularly young back when I was 41, or if I look particularly old now that I'm 56. But either way, time will take its toll when you're in the kitchen. It's a very, very stressful life, and I don't wish it on anybody. That's why I'm trying to teach you how to do it, so I don't have to. Thanks. Algis Manst, that's very nice of you. Neat says, I don't look a day over 30. Wow, that would be a 30-year-old that's seen some shit, I would say. Okay, everybody. Maybe I can find some other content here. Why don't I give a sneak preview of a song. How would I do this here? Let's see. Sorry, I'm just doing this for a second. I'm still here, don't worry. Media source. I'm gonna add we're gonna find a song from the brand new Jose Suicidio album and listen to it. Which one should it be? Okay, well this one, it's a work in progress. This is still a work in progress, everybody, so I don't want everybody to judge. But this is the idea. This is All Alone, the song that it appears, I think, in the Cannabis video and in maybe Bonbons and a couple other ones. But anyway, here we go. I just want to look into the comments. I don't know how this is going to work from a technical perspective, but I'm just trying to, you know, be on the cuff, off the cuff here. Is it on the cuff or off the cuff? Fish Incorporated says, you look a bit like Santa Claus. He came to my local mall once as a kid. That's very cool. We had a Santa Claus at our mall, but he's not allowed there anymore. Zankoth says, I like your shirt. Thanks. I like this shirt too. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to play it. Now, remember, this is very rough. This is Jose Suicidio's song, and I don't really have a visual necessarily. Maybe I'll just mess around with... maybe I can grab an image. I don't really know how I'm going to do this. Here we go. Can you hear the song okay? Where is everybody? Okay, you can hear it.
Well, I'd rather be all alone than to have my heart broken.
It's very
I could
wistful.
live on a desert island as long as they had food. And I'd rather just waste away than to spend my life thinking about the choices that I made. How I'd change them.
This is still
if
rough.
I could. And I'd rather be by myself than build a partnership. Have it tumble to the ground when she leaves me for a life coach. I could live in solitude inside a 12-foot cell with the minimum legal provisions and maybe a ham radio. Carmen, I don't know if you'll ever fully grasp the extent to which you destroyed my life when you left me. Since that fateful night, I've had to rely on the generosity of friends who have let me sleep on their couch.
Be quiet.
I've lost self-esteem, gained self-destructive habits, but worst of all, I've built a wall of separation between myself and the outside world.
Be quiet.
Our love one more chance, but instead, you chose everything that we had
Hey,
built,
Optimus, what are you doing there?
had together during our senior year.
Be quiet. Big boys don't cry. Big boys don't cry.
Well, I'd rather be all alone than to have to face my fears and try to love again, knowing nothing's meant to last. And I'd rather humanity gets wiped out by a virus than to have to confront my shortcomings. I could find some consolation in a post-apocalyptic urban landscape.
Okay. All right, so that's basically the song there. Neat says, absolutely incredible. Wow, and Beelzebub says, I love this so much. Wow, thank you so much. Everybody likes it. I'm going to pass that on to Jose Suicidio. It's Kate X says, loved it. Okay, that's great. Max Kraken US, the chord change is epic. Yeah, no, there's some nice chord changes that Suicidio came up with there. And so far, there's just a couple of temp things in there, but we're going to... Unsuccessfully Coping says, that was a great song. Hopefully we can get a Jose record one day. Yeah, we're going to do that. That's what I'm talking about. He's, well, there is one out from about 12 years ago, but there's also a new one on the way. Fat Hunger says, such an uplifting song. Wow, thanks, Fat Hunger. I'm going to pass all this on. Yeah, Bradford Bartos, you got it. Vince Garardi does 10cc. Yeah, I think we're going to have to figure out how to either get the rights or maybe just have someone else say something different. Beelzebub, yeah, vinyl is definitely going to happen, and that's going to be part of the nostalgia of that. Okay, well, let's see. I think we're getting to that point here. There was something else that I was going to say. Well, we want to go to the alerts, so let's check in on the alerts here. Sergeant White Pepper, I hope that's a reference to the Ween album. Yes, Tier 1 subscriber. Thank you very much, Sergeant White Pepper. It might not be, but a reference, but that's a great album nonetheless, and thank you very much for your subscription. And thanks again, Butt Smasher Masher, for those bits. Okay, so there's one other thing that I'm going to try to do here, and I don't know if this is going to be easy. I'm not sure, actually, to be honest with you, how I'm going to pull this off. I'd like to do my thank you song for everybody, but I don't know. Capacious T says, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Which woman is this? Maui Girl 45, let's begin with the past in front. Wow, you guys are blowing my mind with some of this stuff. All right. Check 1, 2. You can hear me. You can see me. Joe Mama is what Parasitosis says. Dooza says Nancy. Thank you very much, It's Kate, for posting the link to the Spotify if anybody wants to listen to the first album and get ready for the next one. Okay. Can I ask to the person who mentioned, was it Nancy Droodles or somebody mentioned a bar called Rosie's, which is next to the comedy club, Zanies, that I'll be at this Sunday night. Do they have karaoke? Because that's kind of an important thing for me. I like it when there is karaoke. All right, I'm going to try to get through a song here that I do to thank you, the users, but I don't have my list of all the people. Nancy Droodles is working on it. That's awesome. You're working on getting... Okay, we've got a problem. Hold on. There's a situation happening. I'm trying to remove the phone here, which has been serving as the camera. Okay, that worked. I'm going to put this here. I think we're going to no longer be using this. Mimsy Coon says, be careful, Henry. Yeah, that was pretty scary right there. All right. With that little moment that we just had, can you see me? Can you hear me? And is everything working okay at the moment? I'm relying on you. Yes, yes. Okay, thank you, Unsuccessfully Coping. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so let's go ahead now, and I'm going to pull up... how would I do this? I have a very old version of the thank you, so I'm just going to do the best that I can. I don't have the list of Tier 3 subscribers, but you know who you are, and I want to thank you. And then when I get back into my kitchen, I'm going to thank you in the song like we always do. But for now, this is just going to be an incomplete list of thank yous to some people out there who have done so much. And so many of you have done so much more. But here we go. Why don't we do this, since I hung out with Bradford Bartos in St. Louis after the show at Blue Strawberry, I'm going to try to do some Billy Joel. This is the thank you list to the tune of Billy Joel's Moving Out. Maui Girl 45 says, I'm devastated I missed this stream. I hope it is being recorded. I think they're all being recorded. Yeah, you can watch it on the VOD section of the Twitch thing. Bob Dom, Beef Hop Bear 1110, do Dingle, Dog Goggle, Dr. Flanges and Bacchus, Shane, yes, Beelzebub, it's Kate and Kairosa, Daisy Blossom and Sir Doom, Bumble Vision, LGX, Pilskin and Melon 95, moving out. Oh, moving out. Shane, yes, Beelzebub, it's Kate, Kairosa, Daisy Blossom. Oh wait, I already did that. Nymphorce and Moon, XUC and Amaru, Orca Mind, Espan and Bonnie. And don't forget Quanto, Parasitosis, it's Kate X, JB's Tech. Oh, Game Master Flash, Dark Aegis, Lacey T, Beelzebub, so many people, and thank all of you, the Tier 3 subscribers. I want to thank people like Butt Smasher Masher, who just donated 100 bits, and I hope that I can see everybody coming up here. Incoming ad break. Uh-oh. We might be done before that ad break happens. I hope to see everybody in Chicago, or not everybody, obviously, but I'll be back in my regular kitchen a week from today. I'm going to try to do a stream on Sunday morning, but it might be just a scaled down, taking some questions and stuff. Maui Girl 45 says, please pray for me. My ex is in town. He's visiting our daughter. Oh my goodness. Okay, prayers to you. T Dews says, see you guys in Rosemont. Yeah, come on down. Have fun in Chicago, says Beelzebub. Thanks, everybody. It's going to be a lot of fun. And thanks for joining me on this kind of weird, off-the-cuff, remote stream. I missed everybody, and I just am glad we all got a chance to check in. And thanks, everybody. I'm looking very forward to seeing you Sunday night in Chicago at Zany's Comedy Club, the Rosemont location, 6:30 p.m., and hanging afterward. So just going to check on the alerts and see if any came through here. No, I think we're good. Thanks, everybody. I hope everybody has a great rest of your week, and I will see you on Sunday. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks for all of the encouragement on this weird stream. See you, Taco Sauce. Thanks, Neat. Thanks, Unsuccessfully Coping. That's hard to say. Game Cande. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you soon.